Crypto holders, you have until December 10th. This next Fed meeting. Also, according to Cathie Wood, that's going to be when the shit gets flushed down the toilet and we can all get back to living our normal lives and happy number go up prices kind of regime, right? We got a lot to talk about in today's video. We got that. We got what's going on with the AI trade. We got what's going on in the cryptocurrency markets, the ETF flows, a lot of different stuff. Of course, your question, second half of the stream. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. So first and foremost, Cathie Wood just dropped a timeline. Of course, the CEO of ARK Invest. She says the liquidity squeeze, crushing risk assets could clear by December 10th, right as she expects the Federal Reserve to ease. Of course, next Fed meeting is December 9th and 10th. I think they make the rate call on the 9th or the 10th. I can't remember. Anyway, one of those 2 days. We're 2 weeks out. Oh, we're 2 weeks out from the next rate cut. And then only we have to just then sit back and go, God, what's going to happen at the next Federal Reserve meeting? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, boy. Hello from the Ozarks. Hello from Quebec. Guys, what's up? Nice to see everybody. Very interesting. According to her, nothing has changed for Bitcoin's long-term bull case. The only real enemy right now is macro liquidity. Key takeaways, crypto reacts faster to liquidity shocks. Those shocks don't last. Relief window opens early to mid-December. When liquidity returns, Bitcoin will move fast. If she is right, this will make it the biggest bear trap of all time. Be hilarious. Anyway, continue. This meme. Oh, gosh. Hey, good news. I had to put Buffett's face on there. I have no idea. Oh, you're going to make me be greedy when others are fearful. Kalshi posted, you can't see this on my head. Kalshi posted, Texas became the first U.S. state officially to buy Bitcoin. They bought $10 million worth of Bitcoin 2 days ago or something like that. Let's go. Why this meme? Why? Oh, my God. So on this more serious stuff here, guys. Congratulations, Texas. That's fantastic. I know it's only $10 million, but you know what? Screw it. It's the state buying $10 million of Bitcoin. I'll take it, okay? The Fed rate cut likelihood for a 25 basis point cut now at 85%. 85%. Basically, by the way, a 0% chance of a 50 basis point cut, but 25 basis points, 0.25% is coming. Okay, fantastic. Good. Of course, it had to come. There's a lot of weakness in the labor markets right now. Inflation is not really that big of a problem. Tariffs have not spiked inflation. Things aren't that bad. What are up with some of these memes today, guys? I don't even know. Anyway, continuing. Forward-looking narratives. Front runner for the new Fed chair, Kev. We're going to call him Kev. K-Hass in the house. Hey, we'll work on that. Anyway, Kevin Hassett served on Coinbase's advisory council. That's very interesting. So a guy who was on the advisory council for Coinbase could be the next Fed chair. So not only is he going to be friendly towards digital assets, this MFer is also going to cut interest rates down to 1%. Like that, okay? I think that's the key litmus test for Trump's next Fed chair. Will you aggressively cut interest rates down to like 1%? The answer is no, you're not getting the job. If the answer is yes, let's talk. This is what's coming, guys. This is what's coming. Now, I think as we move more into the new year, once we get an official sort of pick from Trump, who then has to go through the confirmation process, all kind of BS. But once we get an official pick from Trump, I think the markets then start front running that narrative. See, right now we don't know who Trump's going to pick. Okay. But when we know who Trump picks, that's a big effing deal, because then May's only 5 months, well, 6 months away. Oh, let's say 5 months and some change. Anyway, make it closer. Round down a little bit. Once we get his official pick, guess what? Markets start front running the fact that we're going to get 1% interest rates summer next year, essentially. Okay. U.S. private payrolls fell by an average of 13,500 per week in the 4 weeks ending November 8th. This is up sharply than 2,500 per week from the previous period. The Fed must continue cutting rates. The labor market is getting too weak. Yes, the Fed is massively behind the curve on the rate cuts, baby. They got to cut more. Jerome, keep the cuttings coming, man. U.S. SPX, S&P 500 futures up 0.33% today. Nothing too crazy, but I'd like to point out the close for the index yesterday. Man, if only some of our crypto charts looked even vaguely like this. Gosh darn it. Bargara, Queensland. What is up? Bargara. I am now fascinated. Where is Bargara? That's quite the town name, man. That's quite the town name. This is one of those like in the middle of nowhere. Oh, it's on the beach. Bargara is a peach town. Oh, interesting. I'm sorry. I'm just getting totally distracted here, guys. Man, some of the beaches in up there in Eastern Australia. Oh, I see. Hey, we're totally distracted from the main point here. I love Australian beaches. They're fantastic. You know, you go to like Noosa or something like that, or Byron Bay, man, just one of those beautiful beaches ever. Anyway, gosh darn it, Lark, focus. Look, S&P 500, we are back above the 20-day EMA. Gosh darn it, man. Townsville, Queensland, what is up to the moon AU? I see you, man. Imagine if your crypto charts looked as good as this. You know, I understand what's going on. Right now, crypto's had a few runners. We had a little meme coin season back late last year and stuff like that. But for the most part, crypto's been a shit trade for the last 2 to 3 years. Ever since 2021, we had mass euphoria. But 2022, of course, the bear market. 2023 had very few things happening. Oh, we had Pepe run. We had a few AI coins run. That was about it, right? And since 2022, again, you could have bought NVIDIA at the same time you could have bought Bitcoin in November of 2022. NVIDIA is up 16x. Bitcoin currently only about 4x, but peaked at around 6x. Where would your money have been better off? In fucking NVIDIA. And a lot of other AI stocks have had insane performance, massively outperforming altcoins. Stocks are offering the better casino right now for people, and people are voting with their feet, unfortunately, in the short term. That doesn't mean the pendulum cannot swing back around to crypto. I'm sure that it will, but you can understand why things are. I mean, look at that chart. Where would you rather have your money invested right now? It's crazy. Anyway, 20-day EMA retaken here in the SP 500. Let's see if we can actually get some momentum here building up. We've got the MACD bullish crossover coming here. Man, if Tom Lee's right and this thing really goes to 7,000 by the end of the month, it's going to be hilarious, man. That's going to be hilarious. Anyway, continuing. As perplexity, White House just launched the Genesis mission, the Manhattan Project for AI. The Department of Energy will build a national AI platform on top of U.S. supercomputers and federal science data, train scientific foundation models, and run AI agents and robotic labs to automate experiments in biotech, critical materials, nuclear fission, fusion, space, quantum, semiconductors. Holy shit. Guys, I've been banging on the drum about this for a while, but the fact of the matter is, the race for AI is so wildly important. It is an arms race for the control of the future. It's primarily going on between the United States and China. You have the EU as a sort of minor player here. You have players like India as well as more minor players. And that's not to put down anybody in the EU or India. It's just where's most of the money and companies at for these AI plays? It's in the United States and China, right? The USA is literally pivoting to looking at this as a Manhattan Project level of importance. That means rare earth stocks are going to go up, likely, in my opinion, right? Rare earth stocks, energy stocks, AI stocks, chip stocks, data center stocks, all this stuff can do incredibly well, okay, in this situation. The U.S. government understands they cannot lose this race. All the big tech CEOs in the United States understand they cannot lose this race. Therefore, they keep dumping hundreds of billions of dollars into it. It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. And of course, I'm sure on the other side, China's looking at that and going, yep, got to keep throwing money in. Can't lose, right? Now, Cathie Wood bought 174,293 shares of Google today. Is Cathie just the top blasting queen here? It's interesting. Look at the chart. Look at this chart on Google right now. Cathie's top blasting that. God damn it. But it's also up another $6 today. What's going on? Of course, Buffett top blasted back here at $280. Okay. You might think, wow, old man Buffett's losing his edge, huh? Top blasting Google at $280. Yeah, well, he's up 15% right now. How your crypto coins doing? Buffett's literally out here top blasting Google and outperforming us. Don't fade the goat, man. Holy cow. AMD had a nice pullback here, back to start filling in this gap. Honestly, in order to fill in the entirety of the gap, it's got to come all the way back down to the 200-day, which I still would not be shocked to see it do, to be honest. If it does, I'm going to buy more. That's quite simple. I think AMD maintains a position as a pretty good player in this whole AI race. Qualcomm, stuff like that as well. NVIDIA has corrected decently so far, but it's interesting because while Google's gaining, NVIDIA is correcting a little bit, okay? Hey, I like your thinking. You can't top blast Bitcoin if it's just down only all the time. Smart, man. I like it. Bitcoin data shared this one. The monthly candle on the Russell 2000. So this is very, very interesting, man. And we talked at great length about the strong correlation between the Russell 2000 and altcoins. Now, look, maybe, okay? Crypto is just a done play. All these ETF stuff we're going to talk about in a second, by the way. All this ETF stuff doesn't matter anymore. DATs are all digital asset treasury companies are all dead. Nothing's ever going to come back. Blah, 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 right? This dude's been on the road traveling Australia for 8 months. Dude, that's awesome. Anyway, but here's the deal, okay? Well, crypto has been down recently. Obviously, you've noticed that. Traditionally, we have a very strong correlation with altcoins, particularly the others. That's all the coins outside the top 10 with the Russell 2000. That's kind of the others is kind of like our Russell 2000, right? So here's the deal. It's currently at massive historical resistance dating all the way back to 2022. I mean, not, super historic, but okay. So either we get rejected horrifically here and small cap stocks get slaughtered, which means your altcoins get slaughtered even more slaughtered, which I know what you're thinking. How can they go even lower? Ho, 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 ho. They can always go lower. But if we break out here, that's a very good sign, I think, for risk attitudes in the market. And this is the kind of thing that tends to break out. Look back here, okay? You can see where the big breakout. No, look, this was the COVID crash. Obviously, there's a strong recovery from that. But what's more interesting is that later in 2021, we broke out of the previous highs, okay? So the Russell is extremely sensitive to massive liquidity in the market. So what are we getting? More rate cuts, end of QT, central banks around the world printing, Japan's printing, Canada's doing QE, all this kind of shit's going on, okay? Favors a breakout. Currently don't have any trades open on BitUnix. I was thinking about putting one in earlier. I was just sitting here, it's like, blah, cold brain. Not going to do it. Just wait for at least for some more high fidelity setup trading over the 20-day EMA or something like that, or at least a rejection of the 20-day EMA for a short. So I feel like I'd be kind of just shooting my load out here in the into the darkness. Anyway, it's a different story. I'm looking for a trade. I'll let you guys know as soon as I open up my next trade over here on BitUnix. If you guys want to join me trading, we only have 3 days left for the current BitUnix sign up deal, guys. Link down below. Long the rips, short the dips, available to anyone, anywhere. That's you. You're that person. Anyone, anywhere. You can trade over here on BitUnix, okay? Link down below. Deposit $1,000, they're going to be $200 back, 2,400, 5,700. They have insane. Look at these whale bonuses. These are freaking nuts, man. Put in 20K, get 2K back, 50K, 5K, 100K. They're going to get 10,000 freaking dollars, man. What is that? That's crazy. Anyway, link down below if you guys want to start trading over on BitUnix. Check it out. Okay, so trading in 2021, trading in 2025. Please just go up. Please go up. Oh, no. So true, though. Here's an interesting one for you. Couches. Nice. Upgrade your home theater. Maybe I do want to upgrade my home theater. Anyway, $128 million. Okay, it's not a lot. I understand. But look at how the trend has gone. Okay, we had huge outflows here, huge selling. Okay, bear euphoria hit right here on the 20th of November with almost $1 billion in outflows. Okay. Now, 24th, we had $151 million out. Still, price went up. Yesterday, we actually had $128 million in, which is not a big number. Okay, but perhaps the tide is starting to turn back in the direction of buyers. Perhaps the price has fallen far enough that we're actually now going to start luring Bitcoin ETF buyers back in. Let's see. Bitcoin therapist says this is the most bullish chart in Bitcoin. Bitquant, the final leg up. Look at this. This has been our cycle so far. We have had no parabolic breakout move for Bitcoin. Oh, well, I know. Okay, at the end of 2025, we just peeked her head over that line for a second and then went back down. Oh boy. Are we in for a Santa rally? Or are we going to get another kick in the Christmas crackers? The way this market's been going, I feel like it's just going to be, if you just imagine, I think it was Orwell had this great quote about, just imagine this this boot stepping on your face for infinity, It's kind of like that in crypto, except it's more just imagine this boot kicking you in the balls for infinity. And that's kind of the market we've been in. Sure, Orwell would have beloved crypto anyway. Here's the thing. I think there's a lot of things setting stage for December to potentially be good, especially after we've had so much pessimism in October and November with rate cuts coming and all that kind of stuff. But then we have end of year positioning, and there's going to be some things that throw a bit of a monkey into that wrench, right? Let's see. But I think there's definitely a very wide open window for risk assets to jump through. Hopefully not to their death, but to new highs. Fly. What if I fail? But what if you fly? What if you fly? We'll see. I think rate cuts are positive. I think the market has been overly fearful in the month of November. We've had the necessary correction in equity markets, stuff like some of these data center plays went down 50% in the last month. Absolutely. These things are like basically altcoins, right? I did buy some more of that stuff this week. What did I buy this week? I bought some more Clean Spark. I bought some more AMD, stuff like that, Anyway, guys, TikTok, all right? So I know the 4-year cycle theorists are very much, in control of the narrative right now, especially as we've had this correction around this time. And there's been Japan bond market fears. There's been all kinds of stuff, right? And look, until we definitively take out the 50-week EMA, we are in big time bear zone right here. Whether this ends up just being some sort of mini bear market or the big mama bear, and we don't have a bottom till late 2026 as stocks just raged to all-time highs because fuck you, crypto investors. That's why. We shall see. But it's interesting because if you're a 4-year cycle theorist, you're really just saying just X amount of time after the Bitcoin halving is when the market has to top, irregardless of the business cycle, irregardless of financial conditions, of rates, of quantitative tightening or easing cycles, of any of the top cycle indicator, any of this stuff. Hey, from Savannah Ket, Laos. Man, when I was like, how old was I? I think I was like 19. I remember spending like a week in Savannah Ket. Had this little hostel right by down the river, man. I just sit there all day, drinking some Lao beer, smoking some devil's grass. Yep. Hitting on backpacker girls. It was a good time. It was a good time, guys. Anyway, hello. Can't decide whether to go into ICP, NEAR, or TAO. I don't have a strong opinion either way about any of those. Perhaps NEAR would be more interesting right now. It's just getting a lot of use with its intense framework. So maybe that's something to look at. But I don't know which. I own none of those, and I don't think I'd buy any of those today personally. But I could see the NEAR doing well with its intense framework. TAO, I think it's a lot of play as well. I know Chamath at one point is talking about BitTensor, whether or not he keeps talking about that in the future, I don't know, but he was at one point. Anyway, continuing. Bitcoin right now around $87,000. We did get up to 89 2 days ago, so not too bad. Still well below the 20-day EMA, which requires us pumping out another 6% to reclaim the 6% from the current price, about 8% to reclaim the 20-day EMA. 200-day sits right up here around 22% higher, which is a long way to go, man. And the 50-week EMA, not pictured here, but approximately with 50-day EMA currently is around $100,000. So it requires about a 15% pump from current levels just to get back up for the bearish underside retest, the kiss of death, or the breakout to new highs in Valhalla, okay? Lark, have you seen the ascending triangle on Bitcoin? The target's around $40,000. I think that $40,000, $50,000 number has been coming out for a variety of reasons. And again, this is the thing we need to watch over the next few weeks. Will we see a unsuccessful retest of the 50-week EMA where we get rejected? And if so, bad news, right? If we take that out, push higher, I think it invalidates all the bearish arguments. It'll be very interesting to see how stocks react moving into this entire liquidity situation, because now we've got the plumbing working again after the government shutdown. Now we've got the more rate cuts coming. We got the new Fed chair coming. Trillions in investments going into the United States and data centers and nuclear power plants. All these good paying jobs and all this kind of stuff's going to come. So anyway, it's an interesting place to be in. Market cap dominance for Bitcoin. This is my Altcoin Now study. Staircase is up here all the way from 2021. Look at that. Elevators down. Now, if we get a dramatic move down, especially in through his time frame here is approximately mid 2026, that would be the altcoin season, basically starting in January, running for 4 to 6 months straight of massive craziness for altcoins. Problem is, that's not going to happen if everything goes to shit. Okay. Yeah. Interesting place to be, though. This is U.S. dollar dominance, currently hovering around 8.7%. You want to see it get rejected from this area and have a solid move back down. Big moves down have always coincided with strong performance from altcoins. Okay, moves up, exact opposite was what we've seen recently. Oh, man, they really want me to buy these home theater couches, don't they? Fuck, they look cool too. Anyway, think about that later. $78 million for Ethereum ETF inflows today. Not bad. Not bad. Now, if that were Bitcoin, this would have been about a $350 million day. Okay. So think about a percentage of market cap wise. That's not bad. Not bad, Ethereum. I'll take it. ETH currently sitting around $2,900, basically out here in absolute nowhere land. Okay. No real relevant price support. I mean, $2,800 is a weird level. You know, yeah, you can say this back here, be previous support resistance, all that kind of stuff. But really, you want to get back up over 3K. And obviously, the move back above the 20-day EMA is going to be critical. We do have a bullish breakout here. Let me just flip it up here so you can see it a little more clearly on the MACD. Okay, right here. Not bad. Let's see if we can catalyze that in something. Really can see the downtrend here, basically from August to now. We've had the full run from overbought to disgustingly oversold. Okay. So at the very least, a relief rally to back up over the zero line or something would be expected in the not so distant future. Let's see if we actually end up getting it. Of course, we are bouncing. We did bounce the other day out of this area, previous resistance, now flipping that into support potentially. But man, right now, okay, either we go back down here or we break over the 20-day EMA. That's what we'll be watching for on a sort of a trading level. Okay. Casting couch is my boat's name. Oh my gosh. What a boat to ride on. Lark is looking for a new casting couch for myself, man. It's got to go start an OF account here. Apparently, if things are going to get much worse in the market, sell pictures of my feet. Anyway, there it is again. Oh my gosh. Luxury. They're Italian too. Not bad. Anyway. Solana ETFs with $53 million in inflows yesterday. And I need you to understand, okay? You might hear the number, oh, it's only $53 million, Lark. It's not really all that important, okay? Look, if you take it as a percentage of market cap versus the current market cap of Bitcoin, this is the equivalent, okay, of about $1 billion of inflows into Solana if it were Bitcoin. Okay. So as of today, $621 million of inflows have happened into Solana. Now, at the current market cap, that's about 0.9% of the supply has been bought in the last 2 weeks during one of the most disgustingly bearish periods in the market that we've seen in recent history. Wall Street has still bought almost 1% of the supply of Solana, even in those market conditions. So what happens when we actually get some real flows here, when people actually get bullish on the market again? Okay. This is very interesting. I think should not be discounted. Okay. Continuing. Solana charts, not too much to report though, unfortunately, except that we do have these downtrends potentially ending. Look at the current downtrend here on the MACD for Solana. Okay. That's very interesting. Maybe I'll actually look for a trade there in the not so distant future on this. We can see currently price is just a little bit below the 50-day or 20-day, sorry, yellow line. Might put in a trigger trade for like 145 or something like that. Think about that. I'll let you guys know if I do. Anyway, you can also see the RSI is broken out. So RSI is broken out of the downtrend. MACD is broken out of the downtrend, trending up currently. Price still looks like this. We got 3 EMAs just overhead that we need to take out here in order to say, okay, there's been a reversal in price action. The problem also is that at $145 becomes the danger zone, okay? Because the danger zone is that we get rejected at 20-day EMA again and go down to Goblin Town once more. Continuing. Pump, not currently pumping, not having a lot of fun. Needs to go up 20% just to reclaim the 20-day EMA. That's a ways away. Altcoin has been doing some things. I mentioned this in the Discord around 24 cent, like saying, wow, shit, apparently we're doing Altcoin again. And apparently we're doing Altcoin again. It's up a whopping like 30% or something from this mention here in the Discord. 25% currently, 35% as of yesterday's highs. Great risk barometer, old Altcoin, isn't it? Now, Stacy Moore talking about Monad here. I see some of you guys asking about it currently. These hot new coins coming to the market. Man, I just honestly don't think there's any great reason to have yet another layer 1 coin in the market. I just don't see the reasoning for it, okay? Stacy points out why it's been a disappointment, why it may not be a total disaster. Raised a bunch of money for Paradigm, creating unrealistic expectations. Like, man, I mentioned this yesterday. You got these coins coming out now with multi-billion-dollar valuations on day one with fuck all users, not really that much going on. I mean, comparatively. Whereas taking some of these other players like years to get there, okay? Back in the day, you used to see these things come out at actually reasonable valuations. They're not anymore. This is came out at a $2.53 billion valuation. Anyway, marketed as yet another Solana killer. Launched at 66 million TVL versus Solana's 11 billion. Of course, Solana took years to wake up to that 11 billion. Promised 10,000 transactions, delivered only 300 to 350 on testnet. 70% of tokens to insiders, only 7.5% to public. Yeah, it's probably going to end well. Civil filters excluded legitimate users. Security exploits stole tokens. Jeez Louise. Claim portal failures late to the party, competing with Solana and Ethereum layer 2s. Launched during a brutal crypto bear market. Why it's not a total disaster. Strong ecosystem partners. PancakeSwap, Enzo, Wormhole. Full EVM compatibility. Easier for Ethereum developers to migrate. 66 million in TVL. Still impressive for 24-hour growth. 30 centralized exchange listings. Apparently not Binance, though. Interesting. 50.6% lockup until 2029 for tokens, reducing sell pressure. Interesting. Prices look like this. It has gone up about 100% since the ICO. Initial sellers got out. Not bad. I mean, shit. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Stable up 10% today. Praying for your bags, man. Praying for your bags. I think it is still a pretty interesting stablecoin play, to be honest, especially considering the valuation versus competitors. Anyway, Monad is currently pumping. So that means the current fully diluted valuation is around $5 billion. Now, to be fair, I don't really know that much about Monad, but I can tell you this. It probably deserves to be worth more than Cardano. Does that mean Cardano needs to come down or Monad needs to go up? I don't know. But basically, everything deserves to be worth more than Cardano at this point. I can't believe this thing is just, you know, the Cardano blocks actually validate by moving from one hair on the beard to the next of Charles. It's fascinating technology. Nobody knows about that, actually. Anyway, continuing. I'm not buying Monad here. I've got my altcoin bags currently relatively set. I can see moving some cash into some highly speculative fringe things, but I don't want to buy any more multi-billion-dollar stuff here. This is interesting, too. This gives you some perspective on how cooked we are in crypto right now and why, if you're paying zero attention to what's going on in AI and the stock markets. Anyway, Monad ICO oversubscribed by 1.4x. Mega ETH ICO oversubscribed by 28x. NVIDIA of China, something called More Threads, oversubscribed 4,126 fucking X. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Holy shit. What? Oh, we are in the wrong casino, guys. We are in the, or it's not a casino. We're serious investors. We're investing in the wrong markets. Oh my God. I need to sell some more altcoins, buy some more AI stuff. That's crazy, man. Think about how weak the demand is in crypto right now. This is the best we could do with some of the most hyped ICOs in years. Monad and Mega ETH. That's the best they could do. Chinese chip company, 4,000x oversubscribed. That's crazy, man. That's nuts. Hey, anyway, guys, the Black Friday offer is still live. It's only got, I think, 2 days left. The timer here is not updated because I haven't refreshed the page. Anyway, I think we got about 2-3 days left on this. You still have time to hop on board. Click the link down below. Okay. You'll get the free newsletter, of course, which always comes out. You can always sign up for the free newsletter anytime and still get great value out of that. We cover charts, stocks, prediction markets, all kinds of cool shit. Okay. But when you go premium, you're going to get every single week an in-depth stock report, an in-depth altcoin report, trade setups. Okay, we share 7-8 charts of things that we think are very interesting to have a look at for that week. DeFi tutorials. You're going to have access to our Discord where me and the rest of the team and a lot of great community members are always hanging out, sharing ideas, helping each other. It's fantastic. And you get all the courses for free. That's all of them. That's Bitcoin course. That's the altcoin course. And that is our trading course. All free. That's insane. Link down below. Go check it out. Offer expires in like 2 days. So if you want to act on it, now's the time. Okay. Continuing. Let's do you guys questions. I think it's time for some Red Hat. This is sparkling water. Rewatch The Princess Bride, Lark. I've seen that movie quite a few times. It is a classic. It is an absolute classic. Been a while, though, actually. Lark, what happened to Hong Kong's exchanges joining the party? Yeah, never went off to the well as we thought it would, huh? I think mainland China still is very skeptical of everything going on in crypto. And so because of that, we have not had a stronger move in Hong Kong markets. Now, look, there has been a lot of stuff happening on Hong Kong. We've had a lot of ETFs launch. We've had digital asset treasury companies launch, all this kind of stuff, but it hasn't. Don't sit down like we just started pumping. It has not had the kind of impact that opening up crypto to the mainland is going to when we do. And of course, Chinese investors, what did we just talk about? Chinese investors are seeing the same thing. Yeah, crypto's cool, I guess, but like, holy shit, we can invest in the NVIDIA of China. I feel like I've heard this one before. It's the Ethereum of China. It's the Ethereum of South Korea. I'm sure it's going to end the same. Anyway, 4,000x oversubscribed versus 1.4x oversubscribed for one of the most hyped ICOs of the year. There you go. There you go. I bought more stocks today, by the way. Didn't buy more crypto. I bought more stocks. I have this weird feeling we're going to wake up one day in a week or two and crypto is going to absolutely explode. Way too much bullishness is now built up. I could definitely see that. Appreciate all your insights. Curious how long it takes to prep for these live shows. Depends on the day. Sometimes I'll go back and forth on different things, but trying to find news and stuff, maybe an hour or so, approximately. What are the top safest bets besides BTC in crypto? First off, I'd like to just disabuse you of the notion there are no safe bets in crypto. Crypto is one of the riskiest markets where you can literally lose all your money. Okay. If you ever want to see a full risk disclaimer, that's located down below. Just to remind yourself, past performance does not equate to future performance. I am not your financial advisor. I'm just a dude sharing my opinions on the internet. Okay, all that stuff aside, I think the top safest, let's say, and not even safest, let's say things that probably are less likely to go to zero bets in crypto would be Solana. I really like Solana. It's now the second biggest holding in my portfolio. So it goes Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum currently. And I'm continuing to add to that bag. I'm fishing for a nice big round number on that. And we're getting close to the stacking goal here. So once we do that, then I'll stop buying. But I think Solana, for every metric, okay, is very interesting and will outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum when the time comes. T-minus 30 minutes till everyone in the UK gets a bigger tax bill. Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about, but that sucks. Some of these governments in the West, man, they're just so cooked. Think about it. What is your big idea Should we make things better for people, make the streets safer, make a more friendly environment where people want to bring their money and invest in their businesses and shit like that? Or should we just say, screw it, let absolute chaos reign in the streets? Everybody's too busy fighting each other to fight us. You know, we're going to get the money. We're going to take more from the rich people because all the poor people will support that anyway. What did I see? Where are they doing this? I think it was in California. In California, they're going to push forward a ballot to do a 5% one-time tax on the unrealized gains of the wealth of billionaires in California. Which, how does that not pass? If they, I don't know if they're going to get that through or not, or if it was even going to officially proposed, but the fact they're talking about it themselves worrying. But just imagine that. How do they end up getting that passed? Of course, it'll pass. Of course, the people are going to, yeah, oh, well, the people voted for it. Yeah, right. So you're going to tell me the 99% of people who are not wealthy voted to take 5% of the money from the people who are wealthy. Of course, they're going to do that. Yeah, give me your shit and give it to me. Of course, people are going to vote like that. That's just theft. I don't see any other way to put that. I mean, taxation is definitely the best of cases. But certainly when you see that kind of just blatant, like, oh, yeah, let's get all the poor people to vote to steal the money from the rich people. We're not going to give it to the poor people. Don't worry. Well, it's going to go to the government, who then's going to give a bunch of no-bid contracts and shit to their buddies and themselves. And, you know, the poor people might get a few bucks in the end, but it's not like, you know, they're going to take 5% of Elon Musk's unrealized gains and like give you a check, you know, money from Elon to you. That's not how it's going to work. Oh, we're going to invest into the social programs and shit like that for you. Like, yeah, they're just going to steal the money. Anyway. Lark, Aerodrome, do you think it'll go back to all-time high? The only way Aerodrome or anything goes back to all-time highs is for risk to come back into the market, risk-taking attitudes. There's risk in the market, but it's time risk-on attitudes come back into the market. So Aerodrome doesn't do it by itself. Aerodrome doesn't just magically go on some big run while the rest of the market's looking like dog shit, okay? We're in a downtrend for everything. We're trading under the key moving averages, whether that be the 20, the 50, the 200-day EMAs, whether we talk about the 50-week EMA on Bitcoin, okay? We're in a bearish period for the market. Does that become the big bear or is it just a little bear? Remains to be seen. I think there's a lot of catalysts to say it's likely going to be a massive bear trap and it'll end up being a little bear, but that may be proven wrong and things be shittier than people think, okay? 2026 has got a lot of potential for a massive run, though, I think, with all the loosening financial conditions, the ISM, PMI, and stuff like that getting ready to break out, et cetera, et cetera. So there's that. But your Aerodrome bags, or really any of your altcoin bags, I mean, look, the chances of these things just to magically go to all-time highs without the rest of the market doesn't exist. Now, when we start moving back into risk-on territory for crypto, I think something like Aerodrome comes interesting play. And look, if we do get into much worse market conditions over 2026 and we just have a bear market because nobody else can think of anything else to do in this market, everybody just wants to go chase AI stuff, which I understand, then something like Aerodrome gets slaughtered with the rest of the market. Straight up. But it's also probably an interesting buying opportunity in that scenario because something like Aerodrome probably has the best chance of bouncing back later on. Because base is not going anywhere. It's the network, right? A lot of these layer ones, they're not going to make it through a bear market, man. Shit, some of these ones launching now, if we really do have like the big bear in 2026, man, half these networks are going to die. They'll do the quiet quitting. They won't actually just, they won't do like Cadena did and just said, yeah, we're done, guys. We're shutting the network off. Peace out. They'll just quiet quit. They'll just slowly dump their tokens into the market, pretend to do some shit, and just slowly disappear from social media and take all their millions and run. Lark, what's the thing in your hat you're wearing? So, red light hat, stimulate hair growth. Don't buy H-bar, you will lose everything. Well, tax tourists in the EU, then when no one visits the EU, they can blame foreigners. You know, it's an interesting thing, Sam. There's this, I can't remember who said it, but it was such a great quote. If you were to take, say, 100 people, you know, and out of those 100 people, let's say 10 of them are going to be rich and have money. And another 90%, look how society breaks down, right? You take 100 people, put them on an island, whatever. And you come back in about a year or so, and probably most likely most of the 10 people who were wealthy and had their shit together beforehand will be the ones who are now wealthy and have their shit together. Now, maybe one or two of them drop off, and maybe one or two of the people who had been in sort of the poor part bounce up. Right. This is the thing, there's always people rotating in and out, right? Anybody can get rich. That's the great part about the world, right? Anybody can get rich. It's never been easier for anybody to get rich. The door is kicked wide open for you, but most people won't for a variety of reasons. And as someone who literally grew up in a household on food stamps, dirt poor, secondhand clothes, all that kind of stuff, anybody can get rich, okay? It's true. But most people don't, for one reason or another. Limiting beliefs and society keeping you down, all this kind of stuff. And limiting beliefs probably one of the biggest ones. Oh, I can't because of this, that, or the other thing, my social condition, whatever. I grew up in one of the poorest areas in the United States. Ironically, my mom got hit by a bus, which, sort of sounds sort of metaphorical, but, and she got about, I think about $60,000 in accident payout for that, which is, sounded like a fortune at the time. But anyway, that was enough money to move us to New Zealand. So we escaped. But anybody can get rich. It's interesting. If you just look at the world, right mindset, right skills, the rich people get richer, or the rich people can take everything away and come back. Because actually, there was a great show. Grant Cardone did it. And it was like basically challenging rich people, CEOs, millionaires, billionaires, take everything away. Can you become a millionaire again? And Grant was the only one ever on the show. It was pretty interesting, actually. Do you think rate cuts are priced in? I mean, to some extent, everything's always priced in, but maybe not as much as people might think, because there's been so much fear around the rate cut conversation. Some rich people work hard for the money. Most get it from inheritance. I think it's actually very much the opposite around. From the stats that I've seen, about 75 to 80% of current millionaires in the world are self-made. So that means about 20 to 25% inherited wealth. So that's interesting. Lark, do you remember Ami, the coin behind the Veve NFTs? True Self-Custody just got announced up 80% while the rest of the market went down. Cool. Man, I haven't heard about them in ages. I do vaguely remember the ticker. That's been a while. So many people calling for a bear market, but when the new Fed comes in, he is pro-crypto. And if they do quantitative easing, wouldn't this end the bear market and start back the bull? Lark, well, yeah. This is the thing is, what we were saying earlier in the show, even once Trump announces his new Fed chair, people are going to start pricing in that regime. They're going to start pricing in a regime of 1% interest rates. They're going to start pricing in a regime of potential QE coming. Trump wants to run it hot. Trump's thought is the only way you're going to beat the beast of the debt is by outgrowing it. You got to grow everything so fast. You got to create shit tons of new jobs, building nuclear power plants, building data centers, all this kind of stuff. All these companies. It's critical. Is Trump going to win in the end? I don't know, but they're going to spend a hell of a lot of money trying to. That's the key thing for us. They're going to run it super hot, man. Probably brings back inflation, all that kind of stuff. But that's for later us to worry about. Just bought a ton of H-bar. Is that a good move, Lark? I've never... there we go. It's gone here. It's coming here. I've never particularly liked H-bar. Never really did anything for me. I know some people have been really into it for a long time. Kind of for me, it was always just like, well, whatever. H-bar. Oh, shit. It's Thanksgiving tomorrow, isn't it? Gosh, no, I forgot about that. Happy Turkey Day to all you guys who are going to be celebrating. If you wake up early enough for the stream tomorrow, come say hi for sure. If not, it's a holiday, man. Sleep in, enjoy your life. Come on. And I hope you have a good one. Have a nice day. Go spend it with some family. Stay off your damn phones, okay? Come on. Crypto market's going to be there on Friday. Don't worry about it. You only get, it's funny. You only get that one day per year, where you get to get all the family together, maybe Christmas or something. I remember when I was a kid, we'd always go down to grandma's house and all the cousins would be there. And my mom was always like, oh, we got to drive down there and everyone's going to be there. Yeah, everyone's going to be there. It's going to be great. Get to see everybody, all the cousins. You only see really at those kind of family gatherings and stuff, all your uncles and aunts. Only see at that one family gathering. Everyone's gonna die, man. Everyone's gonna die. Enjoy those people while they're around. Anyway, what about Pangu? Do you think it'll do well and sentiment picks up? Yes, I do. I did cut about half my position though at break even, which is annoying, but in case things get worse, I don't want to ride the whole bag down. If things get better, I'll re-enter some of that. That's about half the size it was previous. It was a pretty big position portfolio, to be fair. Okay. H-bar already has an ecosystem others can only dream of. If you're just a chart chaser, you have no idea and are never going to see what's coming. I have no doubt they have all kinds of cool shit going on. Just never really floated my boat, let's say. Did you see that Bitcoin on exchanges dropped by 500,000? I'll check into that for tomorrow, but I seems like a pretty big number. That's I don't know about that. Maybe, probably what happened, and I have not looked. I'll look later. But my guess probably what happened is some sort of data feed glitch happened. That seems like a big one. Probably don't realize that XRP is now set to undercut all the coins that are propped up by high fees. You know, fees are not really a problem anymore, except maybe for Ethereum and to some extent Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin fees are cheap. I have memories of sending Bitcoin and having to pay $50, $60, $70, $80 in like 2017 to send $20 for the Bitcoin, right when the market was going absolutely nuts. ETH has been much worse. ETH has got much better, right? Your average ETH fee right now, I don't know, usually pay under $1. I know that recently on, I think the 1010 crash, we got up to $1,000 fees again because, that's what happens. ETH can't scale to demand when crises happen, but usually it's cheap. XRP undercutting all the coins are propped up by high fees. I mean, have you used Solana? Real question. Have you used Solana? It's dirt cheap. Transactions cost like a penny. And a lot of networks are like that. Aptos, Say, Sui, they're all dirt cheap to use. It's like I've said before, XRP back in 2017, I think had a great value proposition. Okay, now I may not have loved, the focus on all the dirty bankers on board and shit like that, but you know what? Fair play to XRP. I think it had a good value proposition. Okay, we're going to do this thing, we're going to get all these big banking networks in, and it's going to be like this bridge coin and shit and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, cool, interesting idea. Why the fuck would you do that nowadays? Just send USDC across Solana for a fraction of a penny. It's more liquid, it's more widely adopted, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway. Oh my gosh, just looked at my honey bag. It's up 40% for the week, and now I'm only down 90%. Fuck. Oh man. Lark, some other YouTubers talking about some chart that's got to do with Bitcoin whale wallets, and it showed that the wallets will hold above 1,000 BTC. So what we've seen so far recently is that Bitcoin whales have been buying the dip. And so we've seen an increase in these sort of mega whale wallets. That's why MasterCard is working with XRP. Fair play. I mean, look, I am not an XRP pessimist. I just don't think that XRP is as great as a lot of people make it out to be. MasterCard working with XRP, fantastic. Guess what? MasterCard and Visa are also working with Solana and a lot of other networks. At this point, we're just seeing a full-on move by Web 2 players into the crypto land. PayPal, Stripe, all these big players are getting into stable coins. They're getting into digital payments. So the moat, again, the moat that XRP once had, it's kind of dried out. And that's a full bunch of crocodile bones and people walk right into it, so to speak. It's not to say XRP cannot perform and do well, but I think at these sort of $2 to $4 ranges, we're pricing XRP for near perfect execution at some point in the future when you have players like Solana, which are like, how the fuck is Solana worth half of what XRP is worth today? It doesn't even make any sense. Look at the average daily users, the total value locked, the amount of stable coins, all this stuff. Solana's got this giant, vibrant, flourishing ecosystem. And XRP, by comparison, does not. I'm not saying things are not happening in XRP. We've got the RLUSD stablecoin. We have real world assets moving over. I know there's things happening. But comparatively, again, current XRP valuations priced it at near perfection in execution over the next few years, in my opinion, anyway. Not interesting for me personally. I'm going to keep buying Solana. Lark, what platform do you use to buy your stocks? A few different ones. Stuff you probably wouldn't use where you are. Here in the UAE, I've been using WIO banking app, WIO. I also have a broker that I do some stuff with. And back in New Zealand, I've got a, what's it called? Sharesies. So I've got a bunch of stocks in there as well. Gave my local hardware $1 million cock in you for one plant. Oh, boy. Crazy. Good morning. What's up? What's up? Nice to see you guys. We're going to finish up here for today. You guys are awesome. Again, for those of you in the USA or anywhere else celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow, have a good one. Stay off the damn interwebs, guys. Go enjoy your time with your family. Okay. Sleep in, relax. Everybody else, it's not Thanksgiving in your country. We'll see you here tomorrow. Okay. See you then. Bye.